What's up, guys? One of the things I see is kind of a common theme about strength training and jiu-jitsu is people are concerned that if they put on too much muscle mass that they will not be functional in BJJ. So I just want to tell you that if you're one of those people that puts on too much muscle mass and puts on muscle mass very easily like that, I beg you to please quit BJJ and get into bodybuilding, okay? Because you have some serious paychecks ahead of you if you're into bodybuilding. And don't be ashamed about this either. I know Flex Wheeler, one of the great bodybuilders of the 90s, he was a martial artist at heart. And he begrudgingly left martial arts to become a bodybuilder because his genetic calling was for bodybuilding. So it's nothing to be ashamed of, guys, all right? Because you have something that's about 1 out of every 10 million people, so just do it. So I guess my point is, guys, it's not as easy as you might think to put on massive amount of muscle to, I guess, interfere with your BJJ. Okay, that's really, that's definitely in my mind, it's a total myth. And trust me, as someone that was a bodybuilder, well, 10 years ago now, a long time, it's something that even people that are involved, like 95% of the bodybuilders do not put on muscle easily. I mean, that's a common theme with it. That's why so many people, let's face it, use PEDs as well, because it's just, it's so difficult to do that naturally, and not many people have that. I mean, there's a lot of people with good genetics in bodybuilding, but to put on muscle rapidly and easily, man, that just doesn't happen. Especially in a sport like BJJ, I mean, it's so intensive, okay, well, what we do, it's just, there's a lot, it really does, it breaks down muscle, okay, it's hard to keep muscle mass. Even if you're trained to gain muscle, though, going back to bodybuilding, it's just like, man, we're talking years of work, of training and eating like a locust, to gain muscle mass, okay? So that's something that, to keep in mind here. BJJ, I can't imagine you can. There's not many people that can combine strength training in BJJ and then gain too much muscle mass to make themselves not functional in BJJ. Here's what I think happens why people kind of associate strength training, gaining size, with not being a good match for BJJ. And there's probably that one random person in your school that said, like, I'm going to gain some size and hit the weights hard and eat like crazy. And I've seen this in all walks of life, especially actually with football. So what they do, they probably hit the weights hard. I won't even take that away or dispute that. Okay, they did, but they ate like shit, and they ate like massive amounts of garbage. Okay. So the pizzas, the wings, and all that garbage and everything, and they gain size, but like everyone else, it's like they only see the size they gained in the arms and the chest, but they tend to ignore the garbage weight they put around the waist that you can kind of see in the face and those type things. And then, and then they probably at the end of it, they said, "Oh yeah, man, all that strength training fucked me up, man. It was just too much." And it made me put on too much weight, and I wasn't even functional. I didn't have any endurance and stuff. It wasn't the fucking strength training, man. It wasn't at all. It was all the garbage you put down your fucking mouth. Is it possible to have too much muscle mass, too much size, and make you not functional BJJ? Yeah, it is. Okay. A year and a half ago, I weighed 238 pounds, and it was actually pretty decent 238. I had some love handles, but nothing horrendous by any stretch. But I had a lot of muscle mass. Let's face it, I trained for pretty primarily one thing in my life, or two things. I trained for football and then for bodybuilding. So everything I did encouraged me to have size. And so when I got to BJJ, that amount of muscle for 6-7 minute rolls wasn't actually the best thing. I get that. What happened, I remember one person said to me, and it really stood out, and we rolled, and he's like, what, he said, with you, meaning me, he's like, I know that if I can withstand you for the first 2 minutes, that I'll own you for the rest of the roll. And what he meant by that is he knew that I would fade out. After the first 2 minutes, my muscles would start gorging with blood. It's a lot of work on my heart, or anyone's heart, when you have a lot of, when I was over 238 pounds, and it's a lot of work on the heart to be able to get blood to all that much muscle mass. So, first 2 minutes was like, I remember he described me, it's like hitting the, when you're playing a video game, they hit the boost button, and you got to just kind of deal with the person, your opponent, who hits that boost button for a while until the boost wears out. He's like, but then after they wear out, they're just done. He's like, that's what he compared me to, and you know what, that stood out to me, and he's completely right. And I was great until all of a sudden I became tired, and my heart couldn't keep up with keeping up the blood flow to my muscles. So I had too much muscle. So right now I'm not as strong. You know what? I'm not as strong as I was a year and a half, 2 years ago. But I am a much better BJJ practitioner now than I was then, because I'm able to train more. I don't have to sit out any rolls or anything because I'm too whooped and things like that. So it has improved my game. So I lost strength. I'm still strong. It's not many people that, even in my weight class, that are going to outstrength me. So I am not at a disadvantage. So anyways, guys, don't be fearful about putting on too much muscle to hurt your BJJ game, okay? It's not going to happen, okay? Unless you came from a background where into BJJ where you already have the size put on. It's not going to just, by you including some weight training or anything, is not going to make you this massive person that's going to make you just I can't even wipe their ass type thing. Okay, don't don't worry about it. It's ridiculous. Okay, add a strength conditioning program into your game. It can only improve your performance as well as help you prevent injuries. I mean, just do something like, even if you were to include something like 3 times a week, 3 sets of squats. 3 sets of push-ups and 3 sets of pull-ups. Just go to failure on all those 9 sets for 3 days a week. Man, you're just doing that is going to greatly improve your game if you have no strength and conditioning program as of yet. Okay? All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you soon. Os.